Over 1,500 days have passed since the release of Black Ops 4 Zombies in 2018. What I'm sure you'll find hard to believe is that 6 brand new Easter eggs were just solved today on Black Ops 4. I'm not kidding you here, 6 new Easter eggs that have never seen the light of day. And I'll be going through and showing you how to do all of them in this video. Now, as you've seen from the title, these Easter eggs I'm calling impossible because these Easter eggs were not solved legitimately by coming across them in-game, and when you see them, you will understand why. These were all solved by a legend in the zombies community called Sirius, who last year released the Black Ops 4 decompiled game scripts. Now, these scripts make up the gameplay scripts that function most of the stuff in the game, including Easter eggs, and the community started to scan through all the code and try and find new Easter egg steps to Easter eggs that haven't been found and solved before. A year and a half later, Sirius found there were several Easter eggs that had never been solved, all on the map 9, so let me not waste any more time and jump straight into these Easter eggs. But the first one we're going to be talking about is one that the community found in 2018 but never solved until today, and it's the 9 fireballs Easter egg. If you guys recall, in the spawn room of the 9 zombies map, outside of the map there are going to be 8 bowls that you can throw ray fires in that will cause them to light up on fire. No one has been able to figure out what they do once they've lit up all of these fireballs, but now we know what to do. So in order to do this Easter egg, you're going to need to spawn in with ray fires as well as the Hammer of Valhalla specialist weapon, and going to need to get it to level 3 in order to complete this Easter egg. Now, the order in which you light up the bowls with ray fires is very specific, and we'll go into the specifics of which bowl you light up in what order. I'm going to start with this one on the right. It's a pretty easy one to throw in, and then once you've done that, make your way to the opposite side of the arena near the door leading to the Zeus Tower and throw your ray fire into that pot there. Then just go slightly to the left to the opposite side of the same section here, and you want to be throwing one into this section here. Once you've done that, make your way back over to the opposite side of the arena, back to where we lit up that first one, and it's going to be the opposite one in that area there. So that's the 4th. Your 5th one is then going to be just to the left of where we just chucked that, and this is going to be a bit of a tricky one. Best way to do it is going to be through this little gap you see here near the spikes. Then going to go to the opposite side of the arena near where we first spawned in, and you'll see there's going to be a bowl outside the map here that you want to throw a ray fire through this little section there to light it up. Then you're going to run across the arena just near to the left of where we just chucked that, and we chuck another one through this little hole here. And once you've gone that, there's only one more to do, so run through the podium, and then once you're off here to the left by all these bodies and the zombie head on the spike, going to chuck it through there, and there we go. That is all 8 done. 4 years on, no one has known what to do after this step. So here's what you need to do next, and I highly recommend that you have stamina up for this. So what you need to do is you need to go to the middle podium in the middle of the spawn. You need to bring out the Hammer of Valhalla, and you need to do a slam attack on the pedestal. Once you've done that, you need to immediately start running while still having your specialist weapon out. You can't be swapping weapons. You need to have your hammer out the entire time. Run through Danu on towards the bridge, and you need to use the level 3 ability to shoot an electrical shock towards this slab of text, where you can now see a cipher has spawned that was not previously there. Now, for the sake of the video, if I go into no clip and we fly up towards this, you can get a very clear view of what the cipher message says. And very interestingly enough, this message was solved many years ago by people that ripped the textures from the zombies map, where they had this message, but no one knew how to get it to activate in game. And this is going to be a repeating pattern for all of the Easter eggs we'll show you in this video. But this cipher is a Caesar cipher that was solved by Gazump, and the message reads, "You do not even know your own mind. It is a foreign land." A really cool cipher message, but clearly the game gives zero indication that that was the next step in solving the fireball Easter egg. There's no hints of any kind to tell you that you need to use a specific specialist weapon, or even where to use it, and especially that final bit where you got to use the level 3 ability on that stone slab is so strange. And what makes this Easter egg even more difficult is that if you fail it once, you cannot attempt it again. You have to restart the game again. But that's only scratching the surface on some of the Easter eggs in this, so let me show you another impossible Easter egg solved. There are about 14 to 15 different shields in the Odin Tower that you're going to need to shoot with a projectile in order to complete an Easter egg. This has been under our noses for 4 years, but there is very specific blue shields in the Odin Tower that need to be shot with a projectile of some sort. So in this case, we're using the ballistic knife, And when you've shot them all, you're going to be getting a secret message. And you can see that all these shields have a very distinct design to them. They are blue with this really cool pattern on them. Once you see them, they do stick out a little bit like a sore thumb. But because there are so many shields in this tower that are just added decoration, no one in their right mind would ever think to be shooting these all and then to be shooting them with a projectile. As you'll see in this gameplay, I'm shooting each shield multiple times with the ballistic knife to make sure that each shield activated. But as you watch this, it just gets more and more of a head scratcher as to how Treyarch ever thought anyone would ever solve this. No one in their right mind would be shooting shields to one day come across this. Like, it is absolutely impossible in my mind that anyone would have ever figured this out. You get to the last sort of 5 or so shields that all have the same pattern and design in this room, and when you get to the final one and shoot it, you'll see an animation where the shield moves over slightly to reveal a cipher message on one of these fence panels in the ceiling. Now, luckily, I have a sniper rifle here to show you this cipher message, but the fact that you have to use projectiles in order to get this Easter egg done just shows that it was even more impossible than it already seemed. But this cipher is a porter cipher with the key being 9, solved by Rich Killer, so big shout out to him, with the text saying, "The path you travel will never fill your empty heart." But if you thought that Easter egg was bizarre, then this next impossible Easter egg is even crazier. If we make our way down to the crypts, there are going to be 4 different statues that actually have an Easter egg tied to them. You need to shoot the heads of these statues in a very specific order using the Viper and Dragon specialist weapon. What makes this Easter egg even more impossible is that this can only be done with 4 players. So figuring out the order is one thing, but then actually doing it in game with 4 players is another thing entirely. And you can also do this in 2 players. If the second player keeps leaving and joining, the game counts that as another new player. Here is the order in which these statues need to be shot. As you see in game, there's some weird floating sort of plastic figurines which Sirius added as markers to show you where you need to shoot with the Viper and Dragon to actually get the Easter egg part itself to be hit properly and work. But when it's completed properly, on the wall next to the 4th statue, you will see that a cipher has spawned. Now, there aren't many ciphers unsolved in Black Ops 4 Zombies, but this one has been unsolved to this day. But as you can see, the steps in order to unlock it are crazy. But wait, there's another impossible Easter egg. So the next Easter egg that was solved today is that you need to throw a frag grenade into the ponds in each of the towers in very specific orders. So the first is going to be this pond in the bottom of the Danu Tower. And again, this has to be with a frag grenade. So you need to throw one in the pond in a Danu Tower. Then you need to throw one in the blood pool at the bottom of the Zeus Tower. Then you need to throw a frag grenade in the bowl in the upper level of the Zeus Tower. So this is a bit of a trickier one to get. And then finally, you need to throw a frag grenade in the pool in the Ra Tower. And when complete, if you prone and look on the ground, you will see that the cipher text will have spawned. Now, this is a hill cipher that was solved by Rich Killer and Coldstone the Gamer, which says, "A wave of change is coming. You will be swept up in its wake." The next Easter egg requires you to have a Blightfather, the Death of Orion Wonder Weapon, and the Chakrams of Vengeance at level 3. For this Easter egg, you're going to need to take the Blightfather into the center of the podium in the spawn area, stun it with the Death of Orion, and then once it's stunned, pull out the Chakrams and use the Lacerating Whirlwind ability at level 3, which produces that damaging whirlwind around you. And that can be the only thing that does damage to the Blightfather. You can't use any of the other abilities. You can't melee it. You can't use another weapon to kill it. You have to stun it with the Death of Orion and then use the whirlwind attack to kill it. As the Blightfather is taken down with the whirlwind, you'll then want to go look under the podium, and in one of the spawns where zombies come out of will be a brand new cipher text on the wall. And this is a columnar transposition cipher, which is solved by Rich the Killer, which the text reads, "The solace you seek will not come without sacrifice." Now, we are still not done because there's another Easter egg found within the spawn room of 9. And in order for this, you need to have the Dying Wish perk. Once you have Dying Wish in the spawn, you're going to want to wait until the fire starts appearing by the door leading to the Zeus Tower. You'll then want to get hurt to the point where you're in the Berserker mode, where you're at 1% HP. And if you stand in the fire, you will see a floating bit of text, which is another cipher. This one seems the most obvious to happen in genuine gameplay, but 4 years later, no one has ever noticed just that. And last but by no means least is a hieroglyphic cipher, which is the first of its kind in zombies and the only one on the map 9. And in order to get this, you need to use the Scepter of Ra specialist weapon, and you need to shoot the ceiling in the entrance of the Ra tower for about 5 to 6 seconds. Specifically, it's the bit of ceiling right near the S-Cargo wall by. And once you've shocked it with the scepter for a bit, you'll notice that the ceiling will literally transform, revealing this brand new stone of hieroglyphics that was not there before. And it's incredible that no one ever did that for 4 years. Now, the plain text for this reads, "The sins of the father are the sins of the daughter," which is, of course, a reference to Scarlet Rhodes and her father, Alistair. And whilst none of these ciphers give us any new storyline information which we didn't already know, it's still incredible that there are still new things to be found in these games all these years later. But you can understand now why these are impossible Easter eggs, because these are things so ridiculous that the developers thought people would genuinely find, that clearly no one found this because it's so complex. Now, Sirius has also noted that there could be more Easter eggs unsolved on other Black Ops 4 maps, and I'll be keeping you guys up to date with whatever gets found in the upcoming days and weeks from this. But let me know what you think of this all in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, you learned something new, smash a like rating on it. New stuff being found in zombies is always incredibly exciting. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you for another video soon.